Most dog owners think that stretch is just a physical thing, a nice long spine roll after a nap. But canine behaviorists have a different view. When your dog stretches near you, it's often what's known as a greeting stretch, their way of sending you a message, a subtle personal one. And most people miss what it's really saying. The obvious assumption: just a muscle thing? Let's address the obvious theory right out of the gate. Sure, stretching is part of a healthy dog's life. It helps them keep muscles limber, improves blood flow, and yes, feels pretty good after a nap. Dogs stretch when they wake up, when they shake off tension, or when preparing for movement. Sort of like their version of having a nice hot shower to wash away the night. But if this were only about muscles, why do they do it specifically near you? Why do they walk across the room, stop right in front of you, then stretch? And why, for the love of sausages, do they hold eye contact while doing it, gazing into your soul lovingly like that? That's not a coincidence, that's a social behavior. And you're the audience. So what's going on? Stretching while making eye contact. Let's break this down. Your dog walks over, plants their paws, stretches with their back arched, and stares at you while doing it, locking eyes, wanting you to know what they're up to. This is not an accident. This is what many trainers refer to as affiliative signal. In short, this is a behavior that promotes social bonding, the sort of stuff we all do, not just dogs. In the case of us humans, this might be smiling, hugging, or even giving a compliment or doing someone a favor. Now, sure, your dog can't exactly tell us they like our outfit, but they have their own versions of these signals. And according to one of these trainers, the animal behaviorist Dr. Patricia McConnell, dogs use body language not just for movement, but for communication. So stretching while making eye contact is often interpreted as a calm, affiliative gesture comparable to the gentle smile a human might offer their mate. Dr. McConnell describes it as the dog's way of saying, "Hey, I feel good around you." It's low stress, gentle, and strangely polite. They're not jumping or licking, they're just stretching. But sometimes that stretch isn't the interaction in and of itself, but a prelude to a much bigger display of connection on the horizon, such as the stretch-greet combo. Have you noticed that your dog stretches right the second you come home? That's common. My boy Striker does that. It's no coincidence. They're not just in the mood to stretch exactly when you come home. A 2008 study published in the journal Behavioral Processes found that domestic dogs engage in what researchers called play bows, because apparently the word stretch wasn't fancy enough for them, and other exaggerated body movements as social greeting rituals. These actions are toned down, friendly cues. So when your dog stretches as a way of greeting you, it's a subtle sign of happiness. You've been missed. That stretch is just a polite way of easing into that emotional hello. Compare it to a person smiling warmly rather than jumping into a hug. It's respectful, relaxed, and says, "I'm glad you're back," instead of an epic bouncing around hyperactively, "Oh my gosh, you're home" kind of welcome. If this were just muscle movement, it wouldn't always conveniently happen the second you come home. Stretching as slow approach. But you might have noticed that when stretching to greet you, they also keep shuffling toward you as they do. The walk while stretching is an adorable and borderline impressive display of multitasking. If your dog does this, you'll notice their ears are also forward, their tail is swaying, and their steps are very deliberate. Trainers refer to this as a loose greeting or an affiliative advance. In dogs, a loose greeting refers to a friendly, relaxed, and non-threatening way of saying hello to another dog or person. It's called loose because the dog's body language is soft and wiggly. Yes, that's a scientific term, rather than stiff or tense. In this context, the stretch becomes a buffer. It slows the approach between them and you, reducing any perceived tension, and lets both parties feel things out before the super excited, jumping up and down kind of greetings can commence. Dogs do this with other dogs too, especially in calm or respectful introductions. It's like saying, Hey, no pressure. Just here to say hi. Can I approach? Spinning out of that actually, stretching, in general, can be a great way for your dog to test consent. The consent test. Some behaviorists like Gene Donaldson refer to the way dogs interact as a series of consent checks. In general, the importance of informed consent, choice, and respectful handling in dog training are core principles in her dog training philosophy, and she proposes that stretching is one of the tools your dog has in their consent check toolbox, a way of testing the room to gauge if you are up for connection. Your dog stretches in front of you, maybe tilts their head slightly or looks back to see what you do. Do you reach out to pet them? Do you smile? Do you talk back? If you do, and they wag or approach further, congratulations. You passed the vibe check. They now know you're in the mood to physically connect, so they're all in to go full crazy and give you the piles of hyperactive attention they were holding back on. This interaction helps your dog gauge your emotional availability. It might sound a little heavy, but dogs are emotional sponges. They don't just notice your actions, they notice your mood. They want to know you're up for connection instead of just charging ahead with it, which feels like a lesson a lot of humans could learn from. I'm not gonna lie. Though sometimes, they don't stretch to see how you react. They stretch merely because you already have. Stretching and routine mirroring. Ever notice that your dog stretches when you stretch? When you get up from the couch? When you head to the kitchen? When you need to limber up in order to reach for a bottle of wine on the high shelf? The experts call this behavioral mirroring. Dogs, especially those who are very tightly bonded with their humans, actually sync their routines. A 2021 study published in Scientific Reports found that dogs can synchronize daily activity rhythms with their owners, right down to the most specific of movement patterns. So when your dog stretches as you do, think of it as an emotional echo, a way of staying in rhythm with you, a shared beat in the choreography of your day. Yet another example of affiliative behavior. Emotional reset behavior. Sometimes dogs stretch after being emotionally stimulated. That might mean a loud noise, a visitor, a toy they're unsure about, a weird new person visiting the house, like a friend of yours or a family member they haven't met. Even moments of excitement that should make them happy. Behaviorists classify stretching, in this context, as a self-soothing action, a kind of canine equivalent of a deep breath. So if your dog has a big moment, even a lovely and happy one, then flops down and has an epic stretch, they might be hitting their own emotional reset button. If they do it near you, that's a trust move. Territory and scent. Now we all know dogs are all about marking territory. We all know some of the ways they do it, including the cute things like rubbing their scent glands covered faces into everything, and the slightly less cute ways of doing it. Let's just call it lifting their leg. The brilliantly named Dr. Bonnie V. Beaver wrote in her 2009 study, Canine Behavior, Insights and Answers, dogs have scent glands in their feet and may stretch or drag their paws against the ground, especially after waking to leave scent traces. This behavior can serve a dual purpose, muscle loosening and scent deposition. So when your dog stretches in your direction or in the spot you just sat, they might be mixing your scent with theirs, making a little cocktail of comfort. Real-life stories. If you check out forums like Our Dogs or talk to trainers, you'll find dozens of owners saying the same thing. My dog stretches every single time I come home. Or, he does this big stretch and then looks right at me like he's waiting for applause. One Reddit user shared that their Labrador did a full-body stretch every morning right in the bedroom doorway. Never anywhere else, just there, until they realized that's where the morning hug always happened. So they were stretching in anticipation of the hug they knew was coming. Dogs are just too cute, man. I can't bear it. These stories dog lovers share on sites like Reddit aren't just anecdotal. In his journal, Play Signals as Punctuation, The Structure of Social Play in Canids, the ethologist Mark Benoff wrote, play bows are highly stereotyped actions that function to maintain the play mood. They often resemble stretching, but are directed at another individual and serve as clear social signals. But that's not the only sign they're quietly honoring you. If you want to know the highest form of affection a dog can give that most owners never recognize, watch this next.